Oh, holiday traditions. They're a pain, right? I mean, they're fantastic. Everybody loves the holidays, but they can be a pain to make happen, you know, especially a year or two goes by and you think, oh man, I wish I had better traditions. This is where my wife is an amazing get off the couch example, right? And it comes back to a Shawnism that I love to share, that I've shared over the years a little bit on this vlog. Book the gig. Let me explain. Look at all these awesome holiday books we've amassed over, you know, just a couple of years since we started the tradition. We've started this tradition of reading a holiday book to the kids every night, right? How do we do that? We just started doing it. We had one or two books, and before you know it, you had to get more real quick. Then there's this guy. Oh my gosh, plagues our life. And then this new one, her take on an advent calendar. And it's this advent calendar that I kind of wanted to just talk about for 2 minutes and discuss this idea of book the gig and how it relates to traditions and making things happen. Get off the couch attitude. So I'm just walking out to the street to catch an Uber to the airport to Chicago. In the Uber on the way to the airport, just a quick note on holiday traditions. So proud of my wife for living this concept of book the gig. And look, very congruous with the get off the couch attitude of taking action, making things happen. Book the gig simply, it goes back to when I was a musician. So I wasn't a very good musician, but I became good enough that I could play professionally, get paid to go do weddings, parties, whatever. I played the piano and sang, eventually turned into a jazz trio, eventually turned into a cover band. And I did this for years. And the way that I got good enough to play professionally was I finally, you know, I was always nervous to do it, and it's really stressful and you don't have enough material, but I finally just booked gigs, right? And at every stage on that path, from going from just a piano guy to a piano singing guy to a trio to a cover band, I would book, you know, I would book the next hardest gig. So like, in other words, at the time I took my first full cover band, party band gig, I didn't have a repertoire put together. I didn't even have a band necessarily, a full band. I had a guy that I was playing with. But, you know, 30 days out, 60 days out, put a gig on the books as if we were the real deal. You know, when the opportunity came along and somebody asked, I said yes. And then you're committed, right? Now, what does that have to do with holiday traditions? So you saw that advent calendar I showed you on the way out of our house. According to my wife, she doesn't know what tomorrow's advent will bring. Like, in other words, she was tired of those advent calendars with the chocolate. If the chocolate falls at the bottom, the kids open the door and then they're crying, well, you know, there's no chocolate. And so how can we, you know, do the advent calendar tradition, which is where you count down to Christmas day after day, but not, you know, not deal with the little chocolates. And so she created the little chalkboard. It's really cute, with the idea that, you know, we'd count down to Christmas. And every day has to be something. I think tonight I'm going to miss it because I'll be doing an Operation Frontline in Chicago with my crew. Tonight is going to be PJs and movie night, Christmas PJs and Christmas movie night. But then the onus is on her to have it tomorrow and the next day and the next day. I should say the onus is on us. But my wife is the amazing parent that drags me along. Anyway, she's fantastic. And that is the concept of book the gig. So if you want great holiday traditions, just start. Even if you don't know, you know, how to keep them going, it comes back to that fifth step, that fifth habit, as it were, in the get off the couch lifestyle. You perpetuate and iterate, right? You perpetuate and iterate, which is what she will do with the advent calendar, because she has to, because she's booked the gig. Are you kidding me? You think the kids are going to let her off the hook if there's not a new Elf on the Shelf placement every day, if there's not a new Christmas book to be read to them every night, and if there's not a new message on the advent calendar every day up until Christmas? And before you know it, you have a tradition. And we've got a lot of them, you know. We do the Rockettes. We do all the, in fact, it's going to be really hard for me because during December I travel a lot to the stores. I'm a busy guy. LOVESAC's busiest time of the year. But, you know, you book the gig, you make the traditions, and you have a Merry, Merry Christmas. Have a great one.